it was just all about like Cam coming back. I remember we were dancing for forever because he kind of took his time. He walked out, he was looking around, like, and he ran out, and the crowd is like, ah. I just remember him coming back and he scored something. He was like, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Left me in the background. You left me in the background. You left me in the background.
Hello, everyone. We're in the beautiful city of Charlotte, North Carolina, with one of the former NFL cheerleaders for the Carolina Panthers and now a honeybee for the Charlotte Hornets. Please welcome Jasmine Neely.
Thank you so much, Ayo, for having me. I said your name right.
Yes,
Ayo.
perfect,
Okay.
perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. It's a
Yes.
beautiful studio.
Yes, same as well. So my first question really is like, how did you start doing cheer?
So I started really in dance, and I started as a 3-year-old, and my parents put me in dance, kind of just like any parent would put a child in dance for like the tutus and, to get them to do some type of extracurricular activity. So I started at a very young age, and there's actually a really funny video of me on a stage dancing, and then like I'm not with everybody else. I'm like kind of doing my own thing off to the side, and everybody else is on a different count. It's kind of funny. But so yeah, I started at age 3, dancing at a studio here in Charlotte. Shout out BB Dance Productions, and I danced there until I was in like graduating high school, basically. So graduated high school. I did competitive dance all throughout that time. Probably when I started, like, was I 4 or 5, and competed all across the country and went to nationals. Dance was basically life. Like, people say ball is life, dance was life. And so like I had to cancel plans in high school because I had dance practice. So
Yeah.
it took up a lot of my time, but I wouldn't trade it for the world because it got me to where I am today as a former NFL cheerleader and current NBA dancer. So I really thank my parents for doing that and let me stay in it for so long. And then after that, I graduated, and then I went to college and was on the dance team at UNC Chapel Hill. All 4 years, we did competitions as well. And after college, I went to, came back home to Charlotte, and I waited a year and then tried out for the Carolina Panthers Top Cats, and I made that. Was on that for 5 years. Got to do a bunch of cool things. I'm sure we might probably talk about. And then I retired in 2021, 2022, and took 3 years off. And I recently became an NBA dancer with the Hornets. So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's a long and great story. I really like that. What made you get back into it after you retired in 2021?
So between that time, I started a business called the Professional Cheerleader, and I coach dancers who want to go into pro dance, pro cheer. And I started a podcast. It's called the Imperfect Cheerleader Podcast, by the way, to kind of give people tips and tricks and like how to be successful in audition. So through doing that, I've kind of just, and I taught classes too, and I still teach classes. And I think I just miss performing. I love being on a team, being in a team environment, having that camaraderie, having your teammates to lean on, and also just being in front of a crowd. I just wanted to get the thrill of performing again. I recently was in Atlanta for a performance at a shag convention. One of my former teammates, when I was on the Top Cats, she does shag, and she invited us to do this halftime performance, and it was so much fun. And so at that time, this was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, I think I might be auditioning for the Honeybees. And after that performance, I was like, yes, I'm definitely auditioning because I like the thrill of performing just motivates me so much. It's like a high you get. It's just something that I really like to do. And I also really like being back into the community. I do like am involved in the community in other aspects, but like representing a team, I think, and being kind of like that spokesperson for a team, I think is really important to me too. And it's a stepping stone to just being in a community and standing for a cause and what that team stands for too. So host of other things, but really, like, I've had to come down to one thing, it'd be just performing.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's what I love about sports, and I look you miss about sports. Is that's like playing in front of that like that crowd, like and just performing and putting your best is like you said, it's a high that you really can't get like anywhere else. So it's really cool
Yeah.
that you returned and you're doing what you love again.
Yeah,
So
I love it. And I feel like I am also a better person when I'm on a team. Like I am disciplined. I manage my time really well, and I learned that from growing up doing it. I know how to plan and organize because doing that and working full time and a bunch of other things that I got going on, I just became an aunt for
oh wow,
my brother had a baby. And this family stuff, friends, I mean, something's got to give. Like, I can't do everything, but it definitely being on a team like that, like you have other women, I have other women surrounding me that are like on their A game, and it kind of pushes me to be like on my A game too in every aspect of my life. So, and you just have that support too with from like a sisterhood.
yeah, that's really cool. And then that sisterhood, like I know, like it starts like during like competitive cheer, like when you're young. So like, how was that atmosphere for you?
Yeah, so again, it was competitive dance for
Competitive
me.
dance. Sorry, my
It's okay.
bad.
I
Yeah,
know like they're very different, but like
yeah.
I feel like I can see how you can get the two mixed up. And then you say pro cheer, like in the NFL, it's usually like pro cheer. I feel like in the NBA, it's usually like dance ish. But I mean, they're interchangeable sometimes. But um, growing up in competitive dance, I also had friends that did competitive cheer too, so it kind of overlapped. But it was, I will say, looking back, I'm so glad that I did it because it taught me discipline, taught me confidence, it taught me how to be a good teammate and how to be a good friend. The dancing part, obviously, like not that I would get in trouble or stay in trouble, but like obviously it gives you something to do as a kid. You're not going to be in trouble and like just mindlessly doing anything that you're not supposed to be doing. I remember my dance teacher always said, books over boys. So, and I think being in that environment, like I said, it pushes you to be a better person, be a better student at the time. We were students. And just make sure that you have like all your costumes, that you are on time. Like being on time was something that was super important. And if you were on time, then you would get penalized for it. You get push-ups. You might be kicked out of the dance at the
Wow.
competition. So they didn't play around. And I think those are really important lessons to learn as young kids.
Yeah, that's great. And then speaking of your competitive dance, like what type of dance were you guys doing?
Yeah, we did everything. We
Huh.
did tap, jazz, ballet, acro gymnastics, lyrical, did I say hip hop? Hip hop. Uh, what else did we do? Sometimes we didn't compete when we did point. Point is like when you're on like literally on your toes. It helped us with our feet and pointing our toes and arching our feet. But
Mm.
we did point. We did everything under the sun. I remember one time we did like a fitness routine with this local fitness instructor in Charlotte. So yeah, we kind of just did it all. We danced. I actually danced with the Hornets and the Honeybees when I was a kid when I was dancing at that studio. So we kind of
Wow.
like teamed up. So yeah, it's kind of like a full circle
Yeah.
moment. And then we dance at like different community events. Like now they have this thing called Taste of Charlotte. I don't know if they had that back then, but like we would dance. There was this thing. Actually, there's this thing in Charlotte called For Sisters Only, and we I think did something with that too. So it was just like we were in the community. And we did a lot of different styles of dance too.
That's great. What's your favorite type of dance?
Hmm.
Like if you could
I
choose like the best like the you if you were like the choreographer, like who what would you
Yeah.
choose?
Okay, for me it's two. I really like jazz, like sassy jazz, and I really like hip hop.
Mm,
So if I had to choose one, I would choose jazz because that's kind of like my foundation, and it's so versatile. You can do a lot with it. You can be sassy, you can be like jazz funk, you can do, like a typical like classical kind of jazz. So I would say that's probably my favorite. I get to show my personality a lot through that and hip hop.
that's really cool. And then jazz, is that like really like slowish or how is that?
No, it's like it can be slow. I feel like more like a classical. If you think about like all that jazz on Broadway, I don't know if how familiar you are with that, but it can be slow, but it's more just like grounded and like using the curves in your body to
Mm.
kind of like move through the music. It can also be like really upbeat too. And you're doing kicks, you're doing leaps, you're doing different like movements that go along with the beats of the music. And it's more fun and upbeat. So that's how I would describe it.
That's really cool. And then for the NFL and NBA, do they both use jazz, or is it like the NBA they're more of like a jazz type of thing, or what?
I would say both. Both like leagues, teams use jazz. Yeah.
It's really cool. And then you also said that you were like a dancer for like UNC, right?
hmm
Oh, how was that? Because that's so crazy. Like for Chapel Hill, and when was this?
This was 2012 through 2016.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Now that's like the peak time right there.
I know. Okay, so my
Yeah.
senior year, we went to the national championship,
Yeah.
but we lost.
Oh
And
my.
then the next year after I graduated, they won the national championship,
Wow.
which was really cool because I got to go back and like storm Franklin Street. Like I had to go to work the next day because like I was in my first year at my job at that point, so it's
Mhm.
like I wasn't gonna take any PTO. I slept in the car for on my lunch break.
Wow.
Yeah, but I wasn't missing that game because I was like, redemption is redemption time. That was 2017, and we won. But being on the dance team at UNC Chapel Hill was intense, I will say. There was a lot of ups and downs, but I think I was prepared for it because of my dance experience growing up through grade school. I I just remember certain times of like uncertainty, being on the dance team, not knowing like what the coach was going to do, not really being clear on the direction of the team or the coach in general sometimes. But nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. We got to do a lot of things in the community as well. Like game days at Chapel Hill were not to be, you can't uh, compare to those types of game days, especially basketball games.
Oh man.
But football games were really fun too, like especially when you had night games and things like that. Those like started the season, and like that was the first thing that I did because that was the start of the school year, and so or the semesters. But and then basketball games, like there were so many basketball games, but like that Duke Carolina game, nothing can compare to that energy. Just that you feel you're like everybody in the stadium, arena, the Dean Smith Center, everybody is just like captivated in those games, especially that Duke Carolina game, the greatest rivalry in sports. Like I sometimes look around. I would look around when I was dancing and I would just see everybody just focused in. Like everybody was frozen kind of until like something happened, and then like they would cheer if we, scored a bucket, and then if Duke did something, then like everybody would be like, everybody had the same reactions. It's crazy. But it was very captivating, very fun. We did compete as well on the dance team, and we did a different type of like style, I would say. It's like collegiate jazz style, which is very different than what I was used to. It's very clean, very sharp, and you can't really miss a beat. It's a lot of uniformity. You have to look like the girl that's beside you. And that's, if you don't, then you will get deducted points and things like that. So yeah, I say all that to say is it was a great experience. I mean, of course there's ups and downs, but I, had a lot of great memories and fun times on that team.
Yeah, I can already tell. Like I was just picturing like the Duke UNC game, especially like through your viewpoint, like as a cheerleader, because you're like on the floor. So
Yeah.
that's insane.
And the crazy thing about that is for students, I would say regular students,
Yeah.
but they had to go through a lottery system to get Duke Carolina tickets. And whereas I think any other game, I don't really know because I was at all the home games. I
Yeah.
didn't have to go through that.
Yeah, you were like
which,
that.
Like I was, I already had my ticket. I had put my uniform on and I was in there.
Yeah.
But regular students had to go through a lottery system, I think, for that game. And I think I don't know if they did it in general, but especially that game. because everybody wanted to go. And so I was blessed not to have to go through that. And actually, my freshman year, even though I was at that game, I still entered the lottery because I was like, I wonder if I can enter the lottery and like get one of my friends, like if one of my friends wants to go, I wonder what would happen if I entered the lottery because you never know what the outcome is going to be. And I ended up getting tickets to the game. I just got lucky and or I just a little blessed, but I got tickets to the game, and my brother and his then girlfriend and now wife came to the game, and it was, yeah, it was kind of crazy because they got to experience that too. And my dad, who's a really big Tar Heel fan, and my uncle, they both got to experience it. So I'm glad that like I was able to bring other people, like my family, into those types of experiences too, and not have to enter the lottery system for myself because I was just automatically there.
That's crazy. Wow. So like yeah, your cheerleader like life really opened the world like for your whole family. That's really cool.
Yeah, for pretty much. Now they're asking me, do we get tickets to the games now? I'm like, dang, can I like at least breathe for a little bit and
Yeah.
celebrate?
You
But
just made a team, man.
right, exactly. Yeah, but it definitely has its perks in that area too.
But then like as a sour note, like as a cheerleader, like how was that national championship game when when you guys lost like off the buzzer beater?
So I wasn't cheering at that game. I was actually watching in Chapel Hill just as a student, and because we didn't travel to any of the games, and
Oh
that
yeah.
game was in, I don't know if it was in Phoenix, Houston, or
Yeah. Might have been Houston. I'm not sure.
Arizona. I can't
Somewhere.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those big cities out west. But yeah, we were playing Villanova, and the buzzer beater was just, yeah, it was a buzzer beater win. Buzzer beater. Yeah, win. Um, and yeah, that was devastating. Actually, I'm glad that I wasn't there because like being in the atmosphere and seeing it, I mean, it would have been cool to be at the national championship as a dancer, but at the same time, I was just like, dang, that would have been so terrible. If we would have won, of course I would have been there. Like, yeah, I want to be there. I
Yeah.
want to storm the court. I want to get
Yeah.
all the confetti in my hair. But yeah, I'm glad that we ended up coming back the next year and winning, and I got to go to Chapel Hill for that too.
Yeah, that's great. And then how is like the difference between like cheering in like a basketball setting like the NBA, or not really NBA, just for like college actually,
Hmm.
versus like cheering for like a college football game?
Ooh, well, being outside versus being inside is one. Being outside, you don't have any air conditioning, so it's gonna be hot or cold depending on time of year.
Oh man.
But especially those hot Saturday morning games or early afternoon games. Woo, you really are in the heat, and you gotta hydrate before those games because and you're on the field directly, so you don't really have a break unless you're turning around watching the game. Other than that, you're turned facing the fans and you are in it. You are going through the motions. You are dancing to the people all the way up in the stands, and you're on the field basically their entire time. For college basketball, I feel like it was a little bit more lenient because we weren't on the court. There's just not enough space for people to be on the court because it's a smaller playing area than a football field. And we were in the stands actually. We lined the where the band was on each side on the where the stands were. And we would do like little pickups here and there. We were in air conditioning.
Hey.
We yeah, we had times where we would perform in both. We would perform on the court, but we would perform maybe like once. For football, I think maybe we perform more than once. I can't remember. But we would perform and I just think it's more of an intimate setting being on an NBA, I mean not NBA, a college basketball court or basketball court in general than being on a football field. You would see like I just remember during warm-ups for basketball, we'd be on the court and as the players were warming up, so like you were very close to the players, sometimes a ball might come your way and you got to just be careful. You really have to be. I remember every time that we would practice or like there would be rookies coming in every season, we'd always say you have to have your head on a swivel. You have to
Yeah.
look around because you don't want to be on ESPN the next day with being the cheerleader that, got hit in the head with a football or basketball. So you really have to like have your head on a swivel, really be aware of your surroundings. And that's what we did. And, sometimes there just be people, like famous people sometimes you would see too. And you have to like act kind of cool. I remember when we were dancing for a basketball game, J. Cole was there.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to dance for J. Cole. We were on the court, and I think like I turned around and he was there, but like people were walking up to him getting his autographs. I was like, dang, he didn't even see us perform.
Oh man.
But yeah, I would say those were the differences. So.
Sheesh, man. Were you ever there like when Michael Jordan came to any of the games?
No, well, if he was there, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, you're too locked in.
I was too locked in, I had a job to do, but I don't think knowingly he was there. Like, at least I don't remember a time that he was there. I think after I graduated, he came, and I was like, why would you come? Like, they played videos all the time of like the former basketball players that went on to the NBA and, were doing big things. And Michael Jordan was always in those videos. And like, it would always get the crowd like clapping and stuff. But I don't think that I ever saw him at a game or on campus physically.
That's interesting though. But you already had like the greatest experience though, like being like a cheerleader like for UNC, like that's insane.
Yeah, dancer.
Dancer.
We did have
Dancer.
cheerleaders though. We did
Okay.
have a cheer team, and there was a all girls cheer team, and then a co-ed cheer team, and then you had the dance team, which was us. So they did like all the stunts and stuff, and they had pom pom. We had pom poms too, but we do more like the dancing, and they would do more like the, go Tar Heels, go Heels. Yeah, to have a
Okay.
chance.
So then like for like the Panthers, like you were more of like a dancer then? And then did they had dancers and cheerleaders?
No, we just had the dance team or the dancers / cheerleaders.
Dancers / cheerleaders. Oh,
I feel like it's easier for people to say cheerleaders because we have pom poms, and I feel like the NFL brands their dancers as cheerleaders. Like you think of the big thing now is the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders on Netflix, and
Yeah.
so like people know of like NFL cheerleaders, but what we're doing is really dance. We're really not doing stunting. We're doing dances and formations. We have like a dance style, a dance choreographer come in and teach us things. So it's more so dance instead of cheer. It's just the cheer aspect is the pom poms, and you're part of a sports team, cheering on a sports team. So like, I think the terms can be used interchangeably.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'll just say cheerleaders just so they know, but
Yeah.
we know it's dancing.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And then how were you when were you like a Carolina Panthers cheerleader?
So that was a year after I graduated. So 2017 to 2021 season. I
Oh.
stopped in like, my last performance was like March 2022, but it was the 2021 season.
Nice.
So yeah, I did it for a total of 5 years, including COVID year, which was a really strange year. But yeah.
Wow, that's great. So you were able to watch like Cam Newton and all that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Cam. I love Cam.
How was that like being a cheerleader for like during that Cam Newton era?
It was a lot of fun. Cam brought so much energy to the stadium. He is just his own character, and he's unapologetically himself, and he's like our franchise quarterback. I wish he was still with us,
Yeah, I wish so too, man.
with not us, but the Panthers.
Panthers, yeah.
And just part of like the city. He brought like, you remember the dab?
Yeah,
He brought like
100%.
everybody was dabbing.
Yeah, I still dab from here every now and then, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Everybody was dabbing in the city. I was in college during the time that they were good and they went to the Super Bowl. But I just remember talking to people here, and they were just like, yeah, every Sunday, everybody's out and about. Everybody's wearing their Panthers jerseys. You see fans everywhere. And I'm just like, wow, I wish I could have been here during that time period, or been on the team during that time.
yeah.
But I still was on the team
Yeah.
during the time that he was a Panther. And that we had this thing called Fan Fest
Oh yeah, yeah. First time I was in Charlotte was 2017, and I went to a fan fest, so that was
Yeah.
really cool. I got to like see Cam and everything.
Did he do the wave with the
Yeah, he was.
crowd?
Yeah, he brought so much energy. Yeah,
Yeah, he's just great, and I feel like he's a great quarterback. He's a great player.
yeah,
He had injuries and things, and of course that holds players back, and sometimes it can affect the rest of their career. But he did a lot for the organization. He put us on the map. He has a great personality. Some of the things in his personal life, we won't may get into that, but like can be questionable. But
yeah.
like still, besides that, he's unapologetically himself, and I think that's what a lot of people respect about him. But also just the energy that he brings and his like kind of leadership style. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Cam Newton, no matter what. I'm a Cam fan. I do remember when I was cheering at one game. I turned around and he like walked in front of us, and he's a big dude. I don't think I ever saw him like in person before, but like I was like, wow, you are huge.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was just like, oh, okay, hey Cam. No, let's keep it cool. I was like, okay, I'm here, I'm dancing.
yeah, yeah. Nah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
He's him. Like that's why they call him Superman.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then oh my gosh, my last season on the team, he came back. I don't know if you
yeah, yeah.
remember that.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
2021.
yeah. So how was that?
Oh my gosh. It just brought back all like the good energy. Even though we lost the game,
Yeah, yeah,
the like excitement leading up to the game was just like nothing I'd ever seen before. And it was so much fun. Like whenever he announced it, I think we did these like player intros where we like dressed up as the players, and like I think that day we dressed up as Cam. Like we chose something that he would have worn at a game, and we just dressed up, and I just remember doing that. But anyway, um it was just all about like Cam coming back, and like the I think the tickets were or the stadium might have been close to sold out or whatnot, but I just remember him coming back and he scored something. He was like, "I'm
yeah.
back. I'm back." Oh my gosh. And it was just so exciting because I was like, "Yes, the energy is back." But then he left again or he was cut or whatever. I don't remember what happened, but yeah. It was amazing because like during player intros too, that's one of like the most electric parts of the game for me as a dancer. And I think a lot of my teammates can attest that's probably their favorite part of the game days. The players running out, you feel the energy, the steam is coming up, and he was the last one to come out, and I just remember we were dancing for forever because he kind of took his time. He walked out, he was looking around like like thinking about all the good times he had there, and he ran out and the crowd is like ah, and we were just like I got chills during that moment because I was like, yes, Kim is back, like hopefully he's here to stay, but thing other things happen. So yeah, that was an exciting time.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy. I was just about to ask about that because when he came back, and I remember his first home game against the Commanders, I remember he had that legendary intro, and that's like one of like the coldest intros of all time. And you're on the field
Cold.
for that. I was man,
Yeah,
that's
on
crazy.
the field. He walked out, he looked back, he looked like everybody in the crowd, and then like he ran. It was like looking at everybody. You could tell he was excited to be back too, and I think that was, that even added to it. He felt the love, and the city of Charlotte loves him, I feel like. So,
Yeah, exactly. And I think he scored a touchdown, and then he like ran to like the middle of the field or something. Did his like Superman.
probably,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
I just wish we had that back.
Yeah, yeah. That energy. I still is like personal, but I still hate how they try to treat him like he was like a bad quarterback in that season. Like he just signed for like a week. Like he didn't have any OTAs or any off season or nothing. Signs in like a week. He's starting, and then had a bad start, and they just benched him for the rest of the year. And I was just like, yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Was
But
that when he was with the Patriot? Not
or he
Patriot.
was with the Pan. It was like his second stint with the Panthers.
Oh
So he
yeah.
played like a couple of games, and then he just wasn't playing.
Yeah.
But hey, it was cool. Like when he was back, like that first game when in Carolina, that was I could feel like the aura and like his like presence through the screen. So
Yeah.
that was
Oh
really
my
cool.
gosh, it was such a moment. And
Yeah.
I live for those moments too. Like that's one of the best parts of being like in sports, being a cheerleader. It's just the energy. And then like it's our job to keep up that energy for the rest of the game, like to entertain and keep the energy going. So, yeah, it was just amazing that he kind of like set that tone that day.
Yeah, cause and you also yeah you guys like add fuel to the fire, so
Mhm.
with your dancing and everything.
Yeah.
So, how did you become a Carolina Panthers dancer?
So, that's a good question. It's a lot of so I made it on my first try, and let me tell you, before that, I had no idea what it took to be an NFL cheerleader. I thought I was eating good. I thought I had a great nutrition regimen, but I just remember. So here's the thing: there's different eras. I feel like of that team of the Top Cats, and then there's eras of like very very skinny, women that maybe starved themselves and didn't eat, and then there's eras where like now I feel like it's a little better. There's not like a lot of weigh-ins and stuff like that. But at that time, I was talking to a vet who had gone through the era of like, really, really being very self-conscious about her body. And she told me, she was like, yeah, you need to tone up. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was toned. I thought I looked good. But she was like, no. She's like, what are you eating? I was like, I'm eating yogurt with some granola. She was like, you need to cut out the granola. You need to cut out the sugar. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, what else do I need to cut out? Like,
Yeah.
and so I started like really caring about my nutrition. I started really caring about like training and going to the gym almost every day. And I got in tip top shape. I will say that. I worked my butt off to get in shape through exercise and nutrition. I ate kale salads almost every day. I drank black coffee.
Black coffee.
Yeah,
Wow.
at work, I was like determined to make this team. I was going to do anything it took. And I think that worked in my early 20s because, like you're grinding in your 20s. You're going to do whatever it takes to get what you want to get what you want. And so I did that, and I think looking back, I would have done it. I don't know if I would have done it a different way. I would have just not been so hard on myself. Like
How so?
like I wouldn't have just been as I don't know. Like I feel like part of me wants to say yes, I'll do it again, but like I think eventually I got used to being as strict as I did, and then it was just like second nature to me. But honestly, I feel like I might do it again. Like I want to say like looking back, like I would have just, you know, eaten a donut here and there, or
Oh,
doing like
okay.
like
Yeah.
doing like cheat meals and stuff. But now that I think about it, I'm like, I don't know if I would have gotten where I, wanted to get to if I hadn't have done that all of that. I think I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So like it helped me. I don't know if I would do that again today. I think I could, but I will say that took a lot of discipline, like for me to do that. And I think that's something that challenged me. And I know that I did it before. I could do it again. So yeah, I think that's one thing that really helped me because I got into tip top shape. I was looking good. I was like, there's no way they're not gonna put me on this team. I was right out of college from the dance team. I had all my skills. I could do my kicks, my leaps, my turns. I was good. I remember in finals they had this like catch hold turn where you like turn and you grab your leg. And a lot of the girls were like freaking out because they were like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do that. And I was like, wow, I've done this all my life. Like this piece of cake for me.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like doing it out of college kind of helped too because I still had all my skills. So when you ask like how did I make the team? One thing I did is I think this is something that helped me tremendously. And it's what that vet told me to do. And she said, see if you can schedule a call, or not a call, a meeting with the coach. Email her, this is her email, and see if you can set up time to meet with her. Come with questions. about auditions, what it takes to be a top cat. And that's what I did. I emailed her, not expecting, for her to return and get back to me, but she did. And she was like, "Yeah, come up and meet me at the office and we'll talk." And I met her face to face, and I think that helped tremendously because she was able to see me, she was able to put a face to a name. She was able to understand like how I present myself in front of her, or like how I would present myself in front of the community. And I think that was huge because in any job interview, like it's about who you know, right? Not necessarily about what you know. That's the old adage. But I mean, yeah, I think that helped tremendously. Trying to think what else. Just making friends through the process too, not being like isolated from everybody during the process because it can take like weeks sometimes, weekends, and they want to see how you're going to interact with other women on the team. Like, are you going to be a good teammate? Are you going to, bring positive energy to a team? Are you going to be seen as a leader? Are you going to be seen as somebody that can uplift other people and play your part on a team? So I think just having other friends to do that and talking to vets helped a lot too.
Wow. Yeah, I can see like why like you're at where you're at because you did like all like the little things that are not necessarily like, you know, most people would think that you would do, but you did like the outside things, like eating right and then like even just going to the coach, like not many people are going to email the coach, but you went there and got the meeting and everything. So yeah, I can really see like the work ethic you have. So
Yeah, I was determined, man. I was like, I'm gonna make this team no matter what. And I do remember finals was on my birthday actually. So I was like, if I make this team, that would be the best birthday present. And we found out the day after my birthday, and it was the best birthday present. So
that's great. And how was auditioning for the Carolina Top Cats? Was it like how was that set up? Yeah.
so I'm trying to think my first year. I do know they were doing renovations at the stadium my first year, so we didn't audition at the stadium. We auditioned at like a hotel nearby. And so that was different.
Mm.
But honestly, it worked out for me because I worked at NASCAR
Oh wow.
during the time I was auditioning, and the hotel that they had auditions at were like right across the street, so I could just walk.
Wow.
I was like, this is just determined. This is like predetermined. I'm manifesting this. This is supposed to
Yeah.
happen. This is
Had to
too
happen.
easy.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to pay for parking. I could park at my job and just walk over. And so yeah, that was I think there's a prelims round where anybody could show up. I think you just have to sign up. I don't know if you sign, I can't remember, but I think you had to like sign up to show that yeah, you were interested in auditioning, and then you just show up in person. Back then it was in person, no virtual,
Yeah.
before COVID.
Yeah.
But you showed up, and then I believe they said come. I think you had to do like 4 8 counts in like a little square, and it was like freestyle. They put any type of music on, you had to freestyle in that little square
Wow.
for 4 8 counts, and then they would choose if they wanted you to move to the next round or not. I think that's how that went. And then the next round, we learned to dance from the choreographer and director, and we did that dance maybe over the course of like 2 or 3 days. I think that was like a week process. And so at the end of the week, we would perform it in like groups of 4 or 2. But I do remember during that round, they had this thing called a cardio round. And that was brutal. And that's where that training came in handy because we had to do the dance back to back like 4 or 5 times without a break.
Wow.
And it was like doing a hit routine for like 5 minutes. And by the end of that, we were beat. Like everyone was just waiting for that cardio round because I think that's something that they did in previous years. And they were like, okay, yeah, get ready for this cardio round. It's going to test your stamina. And that's really what they were really testing. Like, how are you going to be like dragging on the floor after the first time you do the dance? Are you going to be able to keep up your energy for the second, third, fourth time? And so we did that. And that was a real big test because they could see who's in shape and who's not. And then from that point, they chose finalists. And then the finals routine is something that we learned. And I think we did the semifinals routine as well. But we learned the finals routine and we competed in the locker room at the stadium, which was really cool because it was a very intimate setting. It was where the Top Cats used to practice at the time. So it was cool just walking into the locker room and seeing like the setup. And so that day was like on my birthday, I remember. So that was cool. And yeah, I just remember throughout the process, the girls were really helpful too. Like the vets that were auditioning, they created this email chain or like a group where people could respond and say, "Hey, I'm practicing at this place. If anybody wants to join me," in between auditions during the semifinals and finals rounds, people would be like, "I'm practicing. Join me," or "Does anybody have a space that I can meet up and help and practice?" It was very like we're in this together type of energy. So I think I really appreciated that, and it really helped to bridge the gap between the vets and new people coming in, but also just the camaraderie of like auditions and how like stressful it can be. Just being with other people that are going through it is definitely helpful to get you through it.
Wow, that's really great. I love the camaraderie too, especially because you guys are competing for like kind of the same spots, but you guys like
Hmm.
also want to see everybody else win. So
Yeah.
it's really cool. And how did you how did you take the cardio? Because did you have to do that every single year that you tried out?
I think they got rid of it. Yeah, they definitely got rid of it during the latter parts that the no, I guess subsequent area auditions that I had. The second year, did we do a cardio round? What was my second year auditioning? I think that we did not because the coach that I had my first year, she went on maternity leave and then they brought somebody else in to run auditions. I believe that's what happened. And so she took away the cardio round. But we still had to run the dance and kind of do a similar process. But I do remember that second year we were in the stadium for the most part, I think. And then after that, I don't think we did any other cardio rounds, which I'm so thankful for because I think that was really something that that coach at the time wanted to do. And it was just a different like coaching leadership style. So
Hmm.
yeah.
But what are the type of things that you do like to be conditioned for to be a dancer slash cheerleader?
To be conditioned,
Yeah.
definitely want to do some type of cardio, but I wouldn't say do cardio just by itself. You should be doing some type of like resistance or strength training as well because like that's going to prevent injuries that might come about. I definitely think that you drink a lot of water, of course, hydrate throughout the week, especially before a big game. Uh, I know a lot of women like teach Pure Bar, which is kind of like a resistance training, I think.
Mm.
It's like isometric moves and training. So you'd have to do some form of like exercise. No matter like some people don't like to run, some people don't like to do certain types of exercises. You just got to find out what's best for you. Definitely think core work is really important too because when you're turning, and you have to have like the right alignment, especially just dancing in general. So having a strong core is gonna help guide the rest of your limbs and movements
Mm.
and keep you aligned. What else? I think one thing that people don't really talk about is mindset.
Oh yeah, yeah. How's that to be? What is your mindset like as a cheerleader?
Ooh, it can have a lot of ups and downs too. Because you're constantly comparing yourself to other girls or women, I should say. I shouldn't say girls. You're constantly comparing yourself to other women. You're constantly you're just self-conscious about your own body and you are just sometimes limiting like what you can really do in that process. You have a lot of limiting beliefs, especially when you're in this environment where you're being judged like directly by how you perform, how you look, how you present yourself. It's like a pageant kind of.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what makes it completely different from any sport. It's like it's very subjective. But uh yeah, the mindset, I think this is something that I didn't really think about until like my later years as an NFL cheerleader is you have to talk very positively to yourself, and you have to have
Oh
affirmations.
yeah.
You have to really believe that you can do it, because you can get really down in this environment of like rejection and beating yourself up over like the smallest things, wanting to be perfect. Like it's a very, you think you have to be perfect type of atmosphere. And I think now teams are kind of like embracing imperfections now, and they're kind of like embracing who somebody is at their core, and like what, you know, what makes them anxious, what kind of insecurities do they have.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, I say all that to say mindset's super important, and I think you have to exercise your mind just as you exercise your body, because this environment, some teams, I wasn't on a team like this, but some teams can get catty. Some teams, you know, you are sometimes in competition for certain things and certain opportunities, and you just have to you have to remember why you're there. Like remember your why, and not get like caught up in all these politics types
Yeah.
of things. So yeah, I think it's super important to exercise your mind in a positive way.
And then like, because in sports, like there's a winner and a loser. It's really black and white. But as a cheerleader, it's not like that definite. So like, how do
Mhm.
you know when you've done a good job versus when you've done a bad job?
Oh, your coach will tell you.
Oh, okay.
Your coach will tell you, like, if you have done a performance and you walk back into that locker room and you sit down, a lot of times we would debrief after the games, and she will say, yes, y'all did a great job, or absolutely not, y'all need to do way better next time. We always like to say, like, the cheerleaders always win,
Yeah.
even though, you know, there's no winners or losers. If we lost the game, we'd be like, well, the cheerleaders always win. But, like, at the end of the day, like, yes, we don't win or lose. But I think how you measure doing a good job is, did you, were you prepared? Did you put your best foot forward in your performance? Did the performance look like we were having fun and in unison and feel like we were on a team? Did we entertain the crowd? And sometimes we don't know that because the fans don't, you know, tell us. But I think also they do tell us, because now we're on social media and some people are really big fans of the cheerleaders and they tell us at appearances, little kids tell us. So I think that's a measure of success too, is the fans, like how entertained they are, how we present ourselves, because they'll tell you they love you, but they'll also tell you what they don't like about the organization or what they don't like about the cheerleaders. And so, yeah, I think that's a measurement of success too.
Wow. That's okay. So that makes more sense. Where it's like, yeah, the coach will let you know, like if you're doing a good job or if you're doing a bad job.
Yeah, they will not hold back, and it's their job to tell that to us.
Mhm.
And they probably hear stuff from the top too. They probably hear stuff positive and negative, and it's their job to relay it back to us as the dancers, as the face of that entertainment brand, or entertainment sector of the organization, to level up and get it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the Panthers, what type of, I don't know if I asked this before, but for the Panthers, what type of dance style did you guys do?
Yeah, we did like like we did pom, we did hip hop, we did jazz, we did like country style.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
country. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wow, that's interesting. Like, what's the difference between like palm and like anything else? Is it because I feel like because to do it like free, but then to have two things in your hands and you have to move like that, and
Yeah.
that's
Well, we'd always dance with pom poms.
oh okay, okay.
So there was rarely a time where we didn't dance with palms. But palm, the style of dance, you're doing palm movement. So a palm movement is like a high V or like a low V, or like a, they call these daggers, or like you do a touchdown when your arms are up.
Hmm.
So those are palm movements. So you're doing a lot of that in a palm routine. And then a jazz routine, you're not really as doing those movements as sharp. A jazz routine is more like, you're it's all about the alignment of your fingers, even though you have palms.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's not so much of like the high V's, low V's, the like cheer, traditional cheer movements. Yeah.
Okay. And then I was talking with the Vikings cheerleader, like I heard that like you guys have like certain signals and stuff to know like when you guys do certain dances and stuff. So like how does that really work?
When I was a top cat, we did we did have certain like yeah signals. So we had this like rock dance, and so like this would be the signal. Like
Oh,
this is gonna be the rock dance. And then we had like for example, what was another one we had? Uh I think this one was like I don't know what it was like bull or I can't remember what it was. We had like we just had different signals so you knew which dance was coming up and you had to like know those signals. And a couple years ago I was a field assistant where this is when I was retired and I stood in front of the the top cats and I would say like, "Hey, I'll put up a signal whether it's like maybe it's this." So they knew what that was and that's when they would dance. Like the captain would know and then she relay it to the rest of the line.
oh, and were you choosing the routines for that, or?
No, we had somebody in our ear telling us.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah,
were just relaying. You're just the messenger.
just a messenger. It was easy. I was
How was
like, I
that
like
experience?
this. That was fun. I was like, I'm not nearly as stressed.
Yeah, exactly.
On
Oh my
game days, I can
goodness.
come in, they just tell me what to do on the mic, and I tell it to the captain, and she turns around and does it. But we also had to take notes and like relay it back to the coach and say, hey, this so and so did this great, or hey, you need to talk to so and so because she doesn't have enough energy, or something's wrong with I don't know the way that she's standing compared to the other girl. I don't. You just had to take notes, like, and relay it back if you saw something that needed to be noted or
Hmm.
addressed.
Oh yeah, and then how's the film study for an NFL cheerleader?
The film stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
we did watch film. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we watched film after my first season. During my first season, I should say. And that was kind of cool because like we sometimes had people in our corner. We would rotate corners of the field. And there was always this one corner where somebody had like a GoPro or something up and they were filming us. And then like the next week we would look at the film and we critique. And like you knew like some of the mess ups that you had coming up. You were like, oh God, this is gonna be a mess up. But it was cool kind of to see. I don't know if it was cool, but at the same time it's like you don't want to replay your mess ups because you know the coach is going to say something. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I know coach what you're going to say. But I think it was just a way for us to stay disciplined, stay on it and like try to get better for the next game.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because I love film study until like like your mistake is coming. You're like, let's just skip over this, coach. But
I think another good thing about it was we also saw like we were in line, so there was like these small subgroups that we rotate the field with for the season, so they're like just sub teams. And I would see other lines of other girls doing different things, and like you could pick out things that you might want to do at the next game. So I think in that instance it was good because you got to see, oh, Susie's doing this. I could do that too. I love the way she did that. So you could, and you never, sometimes you go a whole season without dancing side by side to some of the girls unless you're dancing for a performance because you're usually like with your line or near your line. That's how it was for us. But I think it was a really good thing to see other girls dancing and see how they dance and what they do. Yeah.
nice. And then like, what was your routine as a Carolina cheerleader?
So we practice twice a week, one during the weekday, and then we practice on the weekend. So Mondays, I would try to work out 4 times a week. I think I took Wednesdays or Fridays off, one of those. And I would do leg day on Monday, chest and triceps on Tuesday, rest Wednesday, because Wednesday was actually usually the day that we went to practice. And so I would rest because I knew I was going to be getting a lot of activity at practice.
Yeah.
And so Thursdays I did back and biceps, and Fridays I did like abs and whatever else I needed to do. Sometimes I would practice in between those days or in my like workout sessions. But Wednesdays we would practice. We sometimes would learn a dance. We'd sometimes clean a dance. We'd sometimes have, I don't know, like weigh-ins or fitness assessments. Sometimes we do like we leave part of practice to do a workout, and we'd had personal trainers come in to do a workout with us. Saturdays usually it was before a game, and we'd set the game on the field, the practice field. We run the game. We run through a whole game, so we knew what we were doing, exactly how the game would run. So yeah, the practices could be they could be long, especially during the week when you had to go to work the next day. Sometimes we wouldn't get out on time and we'd go over a little bit. And after practice, there's things to do. People want to meet up and talk. And sometimes it's hard to like leave. But yeah, that would be my routine. And then as far as like game days, it was usually call time for a 1 o'clock game for us was like at 7 a.m. But you'd get there at like 6 a.m. because you didn't want to be late. Yeah. And
That's
so I'd
insane.
wake up at like 4:45 maybe, 5 o'clock.
And this is just for practice?
Sometimes for practice because we had practices at 7 a.m. on Saturdays. So we could have the rest of our Saturday, which I appreciated. We got out around 10, I think. And for games, 1 o'clock was the start of the game, but we do a bunch of other things before that. So we'd get there at 7 a.m. We immediately go straight to practice, run through the entire game on the practice field, and then we would come back, we'd relax, but we'd get ready with hair and makeup. So like when I was a cheerleader, we had like a hair and makeup sponsor, so they would do our hair and makeup, which was really, really nice because we didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
And then we do appearances, so that would be like an hour. And then after that, we come back in, and then we'd regroup, wipe off any sweat, touch back up your makeup and your hair, do whatever you need to do to get ready for the game, fill up your water bottles, say your prayers, stretch,
Yeah.
get some hype music playing,
Yeah.
and then you go out, you line up for the game, and then you do the first quarter, second quarter. Sometimes we get half times to dance, but most of the time, half times we come in and we, eat leftovers. Or we eat before the game. They provide food, which is great. And like for half times, you eat sometimes, eat a snack, just rest, sit down, because you're standing up the whole time. We don't get benches like players do. We got to stand up the whole time.
That's insane. Wow.
So yeah, and then come back for third and fourth quarter, and then hopefully it's a good ending and we win, and then yeah, go home.
Wow. That's a long day. It's like
It's a long day. Wow. Sometimes, a lot of times we would joke and be like, the next day we always felt like we got hit by a truck
yeah.
because you're just constantly going nonstop that Sunday. Mondays we should have like had off or like had Monday paid for, honestly.
For real. Yeah.
Because it's just like a lot of movement, and yeah, and you're outside, you're in the elements, you don't know if it's gonna rain, might be in the heat, might be in the snow. Honestly, I don't think I've had a snow game, but
Yeah.
it's been very cold for some games. Yeah,
So then what time would you wake up on game days?
like 4:45 a.m.
What?
Sometimes it depends on the time of the game though. Like those night games were so fun. You get to the stadium later, but I think you would always be at the stadium. How many hours before? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. That's like it's 8 hours before before start time of the game. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess yeah, you would get up 8 hours before, 6 to 8 hours maybe before the start time of the game. Yeah, so yeah, wild.
Wild times. And then I remember you talking about like your image as like a cheerleader, like you're very like you have to be like really like on point on it. Like whether like it's like weigh-ins or just how you look. And I've heard about like that, like I don't know if it's like anorexia or anything, but like, is that like a real thing like for cheerleading and stuff?
I think it can be. I
Okay.
think it has been in the past. It probably still exists today. I can't speak on my experience because I didn't have that
Yeah.
experience, thankfully. But I do know of some women that have had that experience where they might not eat before a game and because they want to look good in their uniform. Or, you know, maybe they don't talk about the whatever they're going through. I do know in college there was a girl I cheered with, danced with,
Yeah.
that she did have anorexia and it became so bad to the point where our coach had to step in and like tell her, you need to eat, like try to get her on the right track. So it's kind of like you knew sometimes if somebody was going through it, but you didn't know how to approach it. So
Yeah.
at that point, I'm glad that we had coaches like on my college team that stepped in and helped, and sometimes teammates too. So yeah, it's tough because, like I mentioned before, you're in this environment where you're being judged constantly by how you look dancing, and it can be, and then on top of that, you're getting judged by who's paying you, like your coach or the organization, and they're saying, "Oh, you look kind of like you look bigger today," or "You're not in within your like weight range." Saying that to like young women, especially in the environment and the like just living in America where, beauty standards fluctuate, but you're always like, skinny, fit. A lot of times women's values based off of like how they look. And then, once that goes past a certain point, it gets really bad. And so, like mentally, that's why I say your mental is super important. So, yeah, I think it can definitely be an issue. I'm not a psychotherapist or like an anorexia expert,
Yeah.
but I'm just speaking on like what I've seen in like some of my teammates. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then I think that's like when it comes in, like when like the affirmations that you said, like you have to really constantly like remind yourself like who you are and stuff like that. Because that's very interesting. Like I don't know, me personally, it would be really tough like to be in a profession like to like knowing that like your outward appearance is like what you're being judged on and almost like your worth. But
Mhm.
like it also shows like how like people like you are like yeah, like kind of like super women, like because you
Yeah.
guys are able to like overcome that and then also like be y'all's best self. So
Yeah, sometimes like it just makes me think about when I would go to if there was a game day on a weekday, sometimes I'd go to work and then leave early to go to the game. But I would come to work like with a full face on, the lashes and everything. And like sometimes my coworkers would be like, "Well, is it a game day today?" And I'd be like, "Yep, it is." And so like you just had to stay ready, honestly. But like I said, at the beginning, I think it helped us like stay on top. It helped me at least stay on top of my work, my my job as a dancer, like family, friends. I do remember at the time I was in a lot of weddings too, and I was a maid of honor for two of my friends at the time as I was doing that. And like I don't know how I did all of that at the same time, but being a maid of honor is a lot of work. Even though it's not your wedding, it's like you got a lot of coordinating to do. So maybe it was just my 20s. Your 20s are pivotal.
really,
So I don't know if it's that or if I just, I was set up. I think both maybe, but um yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It can be a lot.
wow. And I totally forgot that. So you also have like a 9 to 5 job and also being a cheerleader and a dancer. So
Hmm.
how do you juggle all that?
I have no idea. By the grace of God.
Yeah, yeah.
It can be tough. I think now getting back into being a pro dancer, I am trying to figure out how I'm going to navigate everything that I have going on with my full-time job, now being a dancer, and the NBA season doesn't pick up until like September, October. So just getting my mind back into like time management and who needs to know what my schedule is and who needs to know what. Like this podcast interview, like I said earlier, I was like, I have to tell them that I'm doing this. And so just getting my mindset back into that is really important. But you just do it, honestly. Dance, like dancers do this because they love it and they love performing, they love just dance in general. So you're going to make time for what you really love. And I think that's what it just boils down to. The job is the job. It pays the bills. Dance pays you some money. We wanted to get into how much, but
Yeah.
they pay you something, a little something something, but aside from that, we do it because we love it. I think it would be great to be paid more for what you love to do, like, some other professions. And I think recently the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders got like a 400% raise.
Yeah, I just saw your story like yesterday about it. Yeah.
Yeah, their Netflix special season 2 just came out yesterday, I think. And so that's a step in the right direction. But aside from that, yeah, it's just time management and just making time for what you're committed to.
Yeah, that's very true. And then in terms of the Dallas Cowboys one, yeah, I saw it was like a 400% increase in salary. Like you don't really
Mm.
see that anywhere. So it really shows that like people are really waking up to y'all's impact to really just human civilization, I guess. So
Yeah, shout out to them because they really I mean, they've had their show, I think, on CMT for a little bit, for
mhm.
like actually a long time
Yeah.
before they started getting on Netflix. I think Netflix kind of just opened up the range to a whole different audience and group of people. Because I didn't really watch the CMT show, but I knew about it. But now this is different because it's like in this new day and age, and um, now you have TikTok and people talking about it, doing recaps and stuff. I do recaps on my podcast. I did for the first season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction. Sorry, what was your question?
Just about the increase, like what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, I definitely think maybe one day we'll get to a point where college dancers or maybe pro dancers in some type of like, I don't know if I should say this, but like,
Like NIL?
yeah, I was gonna
Oh
say
yeah.
like NIL like type of situation because like we do put the amount of time that we put into the dance skills, the performances, the hair, the makeup, like just looking the part and having like media training and being able to speak in front of people and host these clinics. There's a lot that goes into it. And we're just, even though we're part-time employees, I feel like we're just as important as any other person that's part of the organization. And we're like sometimes the face of the organization. So I think that deserves to be recognized, not just with like y'all are doing great, but like monetarily. Like I do think that I'm not afraid to say that. So yeah, maybe one day it will come to that, and we'll we'll keep trying. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say something else along those lines. Oh, I was gonna say I think with that can come pros and cons though, because then like sometimes it could become more individualized. And
Oh.
I was talking to one of my like new teammates the other day, and she was talking about one of the NBA teams and how like their team is now it's not about the team anymore. It's more like about the individual and like that team being a stepping stone to other things.
Mm.
And I think with the model that it is now with the pro cheer and pro dance environment, it is more like about team and sisterhood. And I think a con of doing like NIL stuff like that could bring just more like an individualistic type of atmosphere to the community, which could be detrimental
Yeah.
to it in certain teams. So, I mean, that's the only con I can think of, but just like anything, people want to be paid for what they're, participating in. But I think a lot of girls just come into it knowing that, hey, it's a part-time job and they do it because they love it. And I think that's what it boils down to. Yeah. But I'm not gonna be afraid to say, like, yes, we do it because we love it, but we want to get paid too. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's definitely coming soon. Like
Mm-hmm.
with the Dallas Cowboys thing, because and also like I think also at the end of the day, it just comes down to like exposure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and with the Netflix show, and then even like what we're doing right now, and then like I just feel like it's gonna start coming up because it's like there's no way that you guys should not be earning like full wages and full everything. So, but I know it's coming soon.
And it's funny, when I was on the Panthers Top Cats, I remember people like asking me when I first made the team, like, oh, so like, do y'all get paid like the players? And we were like, a lot of people got asked that question on my team. And we were like, no, we don't get paid anywhere near what the players get paid. And I just remember thinking, like, why would they think we get paid like the players? And then I'm like, then why wouldn't we get paid like the
Yeah,
players?
yeah.
But
You guys do all the same things.
yeah, but I mean, I guess there's so many arguments to it. Like, we're not revenue generating. Like, people aren't paying to come see us at a game. They're paying to see the big stars, right? But on the counter argument to that could be like, if you had these NIL deals, people could start paying to come see a cheerleader or the cheerleaders. So I don't know. You get into a whole bag of worms with that, but yeah, I would be so shocked that people would think that we get paid like the players, and I'm like, no, why would we? But then now I'm like, why would we not?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so interesting. But I just have a feeling, I don't know, give it a good 5, 10 years. I think it could double. Because I mean, if the Cowboys can get 400% increase, it's got to be like,
Yeah, 400%. Like, what does that even amount to? I don't even know.
that's what I'm
somebody
saying.
somebody on TikTok, I don't know, you can't really believe everything people say. Somebody on TikTok said it's like $150,000 now, which is like, that's a lot of money
That is
in
insane.
America.
And I've never seen an increase like that. You usually say like you see like 100%, maybe 200, but 400%, man, like,
Yeah,
so
that's incredible. Like, 400%, that's a good PR move for them.
yeah, 100%.
It's making them look real good. Now, other teams, come on, step it up.
Yeah. Also, I had a question. Like, how do you, like, what's like an average day of you going to work as well, and then also going to practice when you're like with the Panthers?
An average day.
Yeah, like what was your routine like?
Like, if I went to practice that
Yeah.
day. Okay, so I wouldn't get up as early in the morning, but I still get up early. I do my makeup because for practice, you want to look presentable. You don't want to have any, like, not have no makeup on. But that was my rest day from the gym, so I didn't go to gym in the morning. I go to the gym in the morning. I would go to work. I would bring everything that I would bring to practice to work. I would just leave it in my car, because I didn't have time to go back home before practice, because work ended at what, like 5:15 ish. I would get practice started at 7, but I would want to get there at like 6:15, 6:30 ish. But a lot of times girls got there an hour early, just like at a game for a game. And so thankfully my job was right down the street from practice, because I worked uptown and then we practiced at the stadium. So I just, during rush hour, a lot of times it was like, you're beating rush hour traffic sometimes. So that was the only thing. But I could come straight from work, go to practice. We practiced for like 3 hours, and then I would always try to like make it to Chick-fil-A after, because I loved Chick-fil-A and I wanted like a salad or something after practice. And sometimes I would make it. But then yeah, that's really how it went. It was like I wouldn't go home until like 10 o'clock at night,
Wow. And what time would you start?
in the morning.
Yeah.
I had to be at work around 9-ish, so I would get up at like 6 something, 6:30-ish, something like that.
Wow. That's a full day.
Full day, yeah, makeup on the whole day, and not a full face, but like at least presentable, because like we did have social media people there filming our practices and putting it on our pages, like just learn a new dance, just filming stuff
Yeah.
for content.
That leads me to the Charlotte Hornets Honeybee. So you just became one. So
I
like, how was
did.
that? How did that start?
So I have always admired the honeybee since I was a child. I danced with them, like I mentioned earlier, when I was a kid, and my dance studio owner actually was the coach, or she had like I think in the 90s, maybe she was the coach, or she was involved in it in some way. I'm probably butchering it, but I know she was the coach for UNC Charlotte. Miss Veronica, shout out to her. The dance team at UNC Charlotte, and then I think she also was coach for the Honeybees back in the day. But I think with that connection, she connected her studio to, you know, being able to bridge the two together. So yeah, I've always admired them. I have a picture of a honeybee and me dancing around the Christmas time. It was so cute. And I think after I danced for the Panthers, I kind of said like I would never do NBA because there's just so many games.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine that. 40 home games or something like that.
Yeah.
41 home games.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I am way too old for this. Like, I am retired." But I think in the last like 6 months, I was kind of just like I said earlier, missing performing, and I was just thinking like, what are the other ways I can perform and like be in the community and get back into this like dancing mindset and routine instead of just teaching and coaching dance. Like, I feel like I still have something in me. I feel like I still have room to perform. I don't think I'm done dancing yet. And I don't think I'll ever be done dancing, honestly.
Yeah, I can tell.
But I was just like, okay, I've done Top Cats. What's next? Like, I haven't done honeybees. There are a lot of games, but would this be a good opportunity, like, to try it and just see what happens? So that's what I did. I went for it, and I actually decided, like, in March, I think. I started, like, thinking about it, like, in March, probably. And there had been some, like, leadership changes within the organizations, but uh, I was just like, okay, maybe this is a good time to kind of exercise that muscle again and be in an environment to audition and make new friends and just put myself out there again. Like, test kind of like what I preach about all the time on my podcast, on my online courses that I have, and what I am teaching and preaching to like young women around the world. Like, what if I took my own advice and put it into action? And I auditioned for a couple other teams before I auditioned for the Honeybees. I auditioned for the Raiderettes and I made it all the way to finals and didn't make it. I auditioned for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and didn't make it past the video round. So I've had ups and I've had downs. I made two teams. I've not made two teams. And so when I just decided to go for it and I started the process, I was like, okay, I think I think this is it. Like, I had a good feeling from the start. And I had recently had Anna Oboise on my podcast, who is a dance icon here in Charlotte. And she was also a Lady Cat when they were the Lady Cats, when they were the Bobcats. And then I found out that she was going to be a choreographer during the Honeybee auditions. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a full circle moment. Like, I've developed this relationship with her, and now she's going to be choreographing for the honeybees at auditions. Like, I feel like this is just lining up, and I have to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you get those signs in life, and I'm big on manifestation and prayer as well. Some people might argue that one is more like, I don't know, holier than the other, but I believe in both.
Yeah.
And kind of like speaking things into existence and like just noticing the signs that God is giving you. And I just feel like these signs were just lining up. Like, I had interviewed her on my podcast like maybe a month before that it was even announced. And then I had already been thinking about it. And then, like, during the process, I got to learn from her and really learn how, like, she taught. And just being around her and her energy was just amazing. And then at the same time, I had a dance intensive that I did with Janelle, who is actually a former Lady Cat as well, and one of my, like, you know, former dance teachers. And we hosted this dance intensive together, and Anna came to that too.
Wow.
And she spoke, and she kind of like gave tips to the dancers. And I was just telling her, like, I'll see you Sunday. She's like, oh my gosh. And so, yeah, I think the whole process was just like an an amazing process, honestly, to just get back into dance and to get back into auditioning, getting back into like telling myself you can do it, speaking positivity and light into the situations. And actually, during the performance for semifinals, I blanked and I came up with some type of freestyle, whatnot. And I was like, oh my gosh, this could either go one way or the other. I could either make it to the finals round, which they call B camp, or I could not. And I was so kind of just happy that I made it to that finals round. And then the finals round was a whole week. So I got to meet and get to know a lot of the women, some of the vets. And then they announced the team on Instagram, and that was terrifying to begin with. But I just remember one of my friends that I met, and now she's a teammate of mine. She made it too. She texted me and was like, oh my gosh, congrats, Jazz. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? I had stepped away from like my work computer. I stepped away from like looking at notifications of who had made the team. And then I went on to Instagram, and there my face was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I made it.
Wow. And was this just yesterday?
This was last Friday.
Last Friday. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
last Friday.
That's insane. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love how like yeah, I think it was like 100% like it was just made for you because like how like Anna was there and then like how like it was like the steps were just kind of aligning. It was like everything was
Yeah.
all the noise and everything was just separating. It was like just for you, you know.
It definitely aligned like it was supposed to. And I feel like I've had some moments like that in other audition processes. Like I said, the Raiderettes I auditioned for. And it seemed like a lot of the steps were aligning there as well. But with the Raiderettes process, I was coming from a work trip in DC, and then I had to fly to Las Vegas for that audition. So basically, my work not didn't pay for me to go out there, but like I didn't come back home. I went there instead. So that was kind of like an alignment as well because I'd have to pay for my trip to go out there. Obviously, I had to pay my trip to go come back because it wasn't a work thing.
Yeah.
But that was a sign that I saw, and then like, or that I recognized. And then being out there for a whole week, I was so thankful to make it to the finals. I got to meet Paul Abdul, which is so
What?
crazy. It's on somebody's phone somewhere, so please send that picture to me.
You don't have the picture yet?
No, I think I was so starstruck. Like she said, I talked to her and I said, "Hey, my mom loves you." I told my mom that I was gonna, be dancing in front of Paula Abdul,
Yeah.
and my mom was like, "Tell Paula Abdul I love her," blah blah. Blah. And I told her, I was like, "My mom loves you," and Paula was like, "Oh, you tell your mom I love her." And then she was like, we should take a picture. And I was like, oh, yeah, we should. And so, like, I didn't have my phone because it was right after finals.
Yeah.
And somebody, like, on the production team took a picture of us. And I never got the picture. I think I was just so starstruck and I ran out. I should have told that person, can you text it to my number? But I could not find that person after. He's probably deleted it by now. It's like, I need that Paula Abdul picture. It's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And she's the one who requested to take the picture. So
Yeah.
I should DM her and be like, can we meet up again and recreate our picture?
Yeah. This time with my mom. Yeah.
Right. But I don't even know. That was such a tangent. I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, the signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had those signs in that process too, like being able to stay with a friend out there. Like she helped me from like a weekend I stayed with her, then the week she helped me like get a hotel because she had like these Hilton points, and then during the finals weekend, that next weekend she let me stay with her that weekend, and things just were lining up. I feel like for that to be it, but then God told me, nope, I need you to come back to Charlotte. Yeah.
And then now you're here.
I know, I'm getting emotional.
Nah, because it's the perfect, like, yeah, it's like what you said, like alignment, and that's really really cool. And like God like he speaks in like certain ways, so yeah, that's really really cool. And I can
Sorry.
no, I'm 100%. I really love like how you know that too, and like you were very very attentive to it. Like especially like when you like didn't make the team, most people would be like kind of down on yourself, but you kind of knew that it was just when one door closes, like another one open, and then
Yeah.
now you're a honeybee.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like, I'm just now realizing it. Like, that was probably the reason why. So, yeah, I'm grateful for that. Yeah. I didn't know it then, but now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you know.
And I'm so excited. Shout out to that organization, the Honeybees. I am excited to start that journey with them and the organization. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of games, but here I am, here I am. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like we had a meeting yesterday, and I can just tell that they really care about their people. Like the honeybees are part of a family, and I can tell that they are really serious about that. And yeah, so yeah.
I also have a question. So like for any of like the young girls that are trying to get into dance or into cheerleading, like what is like your message to them to like try to get there?
That's good. For young girls, how young you talking?
I would say like when they first want to start, maybe not like as young as you because you were like 3, maybe like I'll say like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And we can
6 or
actually even
7.
go, or actually no, let me go like age 12 to 13.
If they want to start in dance and they don't know where to start.
Yeah, like how like if they ever like yeah, any like words of encouragement.
I'm just thinking about the time, like when I was 12 and 13. I had like some experience under my belt, I should say. But
Yeah.
to a 12 or 13-year-old girl, you're going through a lot because you're going through like puberty and your body changing, and you might get your period and things like that. That's a tough time. I would say to a 12 or 13-year-old girl who wants to get into dance and doesn't know where to start, just believe that you have some type of superpower. It may be dance, but you will never know if it's dance if you don't try. It might be art. It might be singing. It might be something completely different than the arts. But just try, and try everything. Like, I would say try everything, because at that age, a lot of like girls that I danced with at the studio, and now they're adults, sometimes they would come to me, or we would talk, and they would be like, oh, you went to BB Dance Productions? And I'm like, yeah, I went. And they're like, oh, I wish I would have stayed in it. Like, I wish I would have stayed in dance. And, they stopped for whatever reason. Maybe their parents took them out, or maybe they wanted to stop. And then I meet some other girls that went to the studio that I went to, and they're like, oh, I did that for a little bit and I knew it wasn't for me. So I moved on. And like, you need that though. Like, if you think you want to do something, just see if you like it and try it. And if you like it, stay with it and really hone your craft, because you could be really, really good one day and you could be a so and so, quote unquote expert, or you can find out you really don't like it and you could do something else. So I would say just try it if you want to get it started. Talk to your parents, talk to whoever it is at your school that could help you get there. Yeah.
Yeah, try everything. Yeah. And then what about like any advice for anyone that's trying to try out for a professional dance or cheerleader team?
Ooh, there's a lot that I could say, but I will say try not to tie your worth to the outcome. It may be an outcome that you really, really like and you make the team, or it could be an outcome that you don't like and you don't make the team. But no matter what, your worth isn't tied to that. Even if you're on the team, you are worthy whether you're on the team or not. And so I think that's something that's really deep and not really talked about a lot, is self-worth, and that's something that I'm working through. I read this book called Worthy. I highly recommend it, by Jamie Kern Lima. And I would say read that book, because there's going to be times in your life where your worth is going to be tested. And you can have a lot of self-confidence, but if you don't have that inherent self-worth, then you're going to struggle with life. So that's something that I would say, and it's not typical to the, go take classes or put yourself out there and just suck up the regret. It's just, you can do all those things, yeah, and all those things are really important, but I think it starts with self-worth, because you never know what that outcome's going to be, but you have to be prepared for it. Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to replay this to my daughter later, like when like 20 years later. So,
Yeah.
because that's you dropped some gems just now. That's
Thank
perfect.
you. Do you have a daughter?
No, no, no.
Oh,
Okay,
your
that
future
sounded weird.
daughter.
Yeah, future daughter.
Okay,
20
got
years
you.
from now, I'm not even in that realm yet. But
Mm.
yeah, that's really cool. And then also have another question, like, what are your future goals for yourself, like in your career?
Just my career in general.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now I do have a full-time job and I do a bunch of other things on the side. So I'm in marketing for a professional services firm, and now I am an NBA dancer, and now I'm a podcaster. I teach dance classes. I do privates. I do all of that. And I don't, you asked what's next for my
Yeah.
career.
Like, what would you want to see yourself?
Whew. Right now, I'm just trying to like stay in the present. It's hard to
Right.
think about what's next, but I have thought about it, and I have a really good friend who is an opera singer, and we've talked about starting some type of like music and dance type of school. So maybe we might do that. I'm putting it out in the atmosphere. Hope she doesn't, she doesn't mind. But maybe that's next. Who knows? I do really like being able to be on a mic and do podcasting. Hell, I might, use the studio to do my podcast now, since I
Yeah.
know it exists.
Yeah.
But I do like doing that. So I think continuing to do that and bringing more voices to talk about dance experiences and share what they've been through, because the amount of people that message me and say, hey, like, I listened to this podcast and I really loved what you said about this, or I really loved that you had so and so on to talk about this. Those messages, getting those, helps me realize like, oh yeah, you need to keep going. So definitely want to keep doing that, and then maybe opening a physical location in the future. So
That would be cool because like you're also really good on camera, and then like I also know like you teach as well. So it would be cool if you had like your own like maybe your own studio where you're teaching, and then I don't know, maybe you're recording some of the lessons and posting them. I don't know, but yeah, whatever you do, I could definitely see you like being successful with it. So
well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll
problem.
see what happens in the future. But I'm like trying to focus on the now
yeah,
for now.
yeah,
But
100%.
you definitely are always thinking about the future.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. So like so you're gonna be in NBA. Do they say like in the for at least for Charlotte? Do they say like you're gonna be a dancer or a cheerleader?
In the NBA, I feel like it's a dancer. I'm
Dancer,
still
okay.
learning because I'm new to this.
Yeah,
But we're dancers, yeah.
that's gonna be interesting. So you get to like be in like the Hornets like arena, like the aura. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know. 'Cause I know LaMelo Ball is also really good too. They have a couple young players, so that should be a lot of fun. To see.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel like the draft is coming up, so maybe we'll get to see some new draft picks. I don't know like what it's gonna look like, but I still need to, you know, maybe do some more research on that. So yeah, I'm excited to see who we get. I'm excited for the off season and then going into the season, which starts in October. Excited to learn more dances and just be out there, be intimate with the fans and interact. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate you hopping on. It was really good hearing your story from UNC. No, actually, no, I gotta go back from
Yeah.
you doing dance as a kid, you know, and then doing competitive dance, and then UNC, which is crazy in its own right, and then dancing for the Panthers, and then now as a honeybee. That's crazy. Doing podcasting as well, doing teaching as well, like, and while all working a job. So that's insane, you know. So that also just shows like, you know, like there's no limit, you know. Yeah, and it also shows that you really are a superwoman. So that's really
Gosh.
cool.
I definitely do too much, honestly. I
You
do
think
way
so?
too much. My mom's always like, you need to sit down because I'm always doing way too much. Maybe once I have kids, I'll settle down. But
Oh, yeah.
for now, I'm like, I'm living the life that I want to live and nobody's going to stop me. But a kid will probably stop me.
Yeah, yeah. When that day comes, yeah.
Exactly. I'm living my life to the fullest as much as I can. And I think everyone should.
That's great.
Well, thank you so much, Ayo. You're great, and you're a really great interviewer, and I appreciated this conversation. Like I got emotional
Yeah.
talking about dance. I didn't think that was gonna happen, but like just talking about my experiences with you has really opened my eyes up to like how far I've come and like where I want to go, and like how many more people that I can help and impact just through this gift that God has given me. So.
Yeah.
Yo, I need some brain like Bay, let me see how you thinking. Me, I was sat there, bro, like you, seeing the clock just ticking. I'm kinda bitch, I be on.